Today we're going to talk about authentication and authorization. That is, how do I get someone to the data they need? And what confuses people that come from other database systems is that part of this process is handled at the OS level. DB2 is completely out of it, and that's the authentication piece. For you to get to the data you want, you must have an ID that exists on that box. If it doesn't, you are going to get stopped there at the gatekeeper. Once you have an ID that gives you access to the box, you have different levels of authority all the way down to the table level. The first one is the database authority. You get to the server, you know you're allowed to be on the server, but do you have access to the database you want? You may have access to one database, but not another. After you get to the database, what about the table? You could have access to all tables, no tables, some of the tables, and you could even have special authority down to the row level. And yes, you theoretically could have access to the server, have access to the database, but don't have the ability to select any data from any table. It's unusual, but it could happen because of the granular level of authorization. So how do I do this? Typically, to give someone access to data at a table, there are a few commands you need to issue. You are usually db2 inst1, the instance ID, and you're going to connect to the database as db2 inst1. Once you're there, you're going to give connectability to whatever ID you want to come in. They got past the server, right? Now they have to have the ability to connect to the database. Once they've been given connect authority, you issue one of four or multiple commands to give them read, write, or read only access. If you do a command for select, the grant select, you are going to give them read only access to the table. Whereas if you issue all four, you're going to be giving read write access. And notice here that I am granting to user. This is going to be at the user ID level. If you have an OS level group with 5 IDs underneath it, say developer, and there are 5 developer IDs underneath it, you could actually issue to group developer, and all IDs will get that access immediately at one time. This should cover everything you need to get started. You have the 40,000 foot view of what's happening, and you know exactly what commands need to be issued to give somebody access to the table and data they want.